Welcome back. You're still with us on Business 360. The Supreme Court has ruled out imposing additional restrictions on right to free speech by ministers, MPs and MLAs. A 5-judge constitutional bench has ruled that restrictions on free speech are the same for all citizens and cannot go beyond what is prescribed in the Constitution. One judge, Justice Nagaratna, however, raised concerns over indiscreet speeches by lawmakers. Ashmit Kumar joins us now. Ashmit, take us through what the Supreme Court ruling said.
Well, to begin with, the question that was there laid before the Apex Court is that in cases of hate speeches or incendiary speeches by ministers or by senior leaders of the government, what happens then? Do we need some additional restrictions? Do we need some additional safeguards? Well, that question has been answered in the negative by the Apex Court. The Supreme Court is very clear. No additional restrictions can be placed on free speech of ministers, elected leaders, MPs, MLAs. Further, what the court said is that as far as these guidelines and issues are concerned, a mere speech being made by a politician or by a leader or by a public functionary cannot in fact said to be violative of your constitutional rights or my constitutional rights. The third key takeaway from the Apex Court's judgment is that senior ministers and leaders of a government making comments, those comments cannot be attributed to the government. So these are protections that, in fact, the Supreme Court has now given to various elected leaders, MPs and MLAs. However, what's interesting to note is that just as in the demonetization judgment, Justice B.V. Nagaratna did give a view, an independent view in this matter as well. Now, while she's not opposed to any of these assertions made or the claims that are being made by the Supreme Court, what she does, however, she, through her own rationale, makes very few interesting comments. Number one, the first point that she raises is that as far as hate speech is concerned, it continues to be a major concern, especially it strikes at the heart of an equal society that is sought here in India, which is a multicultural place, and that it is based on principles of harmony and fraternity, and that hate speech damages that. So that's the first key point that she makes. The second key takeaway here from her observations is that especially as far as public leaders are concerned, given the influence that they wield over large masses, it's important that they are more restrained and measured in their conduct, especially as far as their speeches and words are concerned. The third is, and this is quite interesting, and this is a small bit where she's at odds with the majority view, is that disparaging comments being made by a minister can vicariously be attributed to the government of the day. And the fourth takeaway, and this is more of a suggestion coming in from the Apex Court, from Justice B.V. Nagaratna, is that while the Supreme Court is not prescribing any guidelines or restrictions on free speech, that issue is still open for the Parliament to consider, number one. And number two, it is for the political parties to rein in such errant leaders by establishing a code of conduct. So strong words, those by Justice B.V. Nagaratna.
Yeah, some interesting comments there. Thank you so much for those details, Ashmit. Now, the Bombay High Court